Can a narcissist actually just fake it till they make it? Can they actually change? Is this actually possible? If so, what's that going to look like? If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor, the founder of Raw Motivations, the creator of the Narc app, and your guide in the 45-day Clarity Challenge. You can access at claritychallenge.net. If you like what we see here, talking about narcissism, narcissistic abuse, anything like that, my journey in narcissism, hit subscribe, hit the notification so you can get notified when we drop new videos. I'm on this channel to help bring awareness about what narcissism is. I bring awareness because I am a narcissist and because a lot of the things that I talk about I have done or I have personal experience in or I understand the mindset. Well, a lot of times when we talk about narcissists, they always fake something. Typically, they're faking this aspect of change, or they're faking what they're doing, or they're faking with having a mask, like whatever it might be. A lot of times we see that aspect of like, wait a second, are they actually changing? Like, what is actually real? So I want to talk to you about them faking change. Is it real? Can they change? And also a question at the end for you. Narcissists oftentimes fake change all the time. Is it actually real? Is it something that they're trying to change? You get to the place where you're confused because you're like, I don't know. I don't know if this is the real thing. They're saying they're changing, but they've also said they've been changing for 25 times now. Like, which one is it actually? And you get stuck in this place of cognitive dissonance. And the cognitive dissonance is holding two opposing thoughts at the same time. Do I believe their words or do I believe their actions? Do I believe them in this instance or do I believe them in this instance? Which one do I actually believe? What reality is actually true? And when we talk about narcissism, there's this aspect that cognitive dissonance plays a huge role because you're not sure which way to go. It leaves you in this aspect of a trauma bond. Typically, you'll see this in the regards of, I'm going to fake change. The narcissist will say, I'll make a change. I'll say I'll be different. I'll say, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to be. I'm no longer going to yell at you. I'm no longer going to cheat on you. I'm no longer going to do all these things, but nothing happens. And then you get to the place of future faking where they're promising to do different things that they have no intention of doing because they're not being honest to start off with, or they're not being vulnerable, or they're not working on it on a consistent basis. Sometimes we see narcissists that will go to extreme lengths. They'll get into therapy. They'll start to do behavioral modification. They'll do different things to try to suppress the anger, to be able to try to hide the things that are actually inside. But what happens is it's almost like another mask that they start to build. There's the mask of how everybody sees, and then there's the mask of what you actually see, and then there's the person actually underneath. Sometimes you'll see this with covert relationships. With a covert narcissist, you'll have this aspect of suppressing the anger that you don't actually see it. You don't actually know that it's there because the person's not raging at you. They're not hitting you. They're not throwing stuff. So like they don't seem angry, but you can tell something's wrong. You can tell that they're angry, but they won't admit it. Sometimes you have this aspect where narcissists will change over time from an overt to a covert. It doesn't mean that they're locked into like, I can only be an overt, I can only be a covert. Sometimes we have a narcissist that's very overt, yelling, screaming, throwing things, and then it changes. They stop. And maybe it's anger management. Maybe they learn a little bit about it, whatever it might be. And they don't stop as far as like they're no longer angry, they're no longer mad, but they change it to now give you the silent treatment. Now get you to the place of where you have to come back and you have to beg. And you feel it. And you're like, what's going on? But they just lie about it and they just fake moving forward. Is it real? How do you know if the other person's actually changing? How do you know if it's actually happening? First thing you have to understand is the motivation is really key. What is their motivation of wanting to change? Why do they want to change? You see, a lot of narcissists will be, I want to change for you. I want to change because I want our family back together. I want to change because like I don't want to lose you because you're the love of my life. You're my soulmate. You're all these things. All those motivations will fail. As soon as you fall off that pedestal in their eyes, as soon as you make a mistake, as soon as you hold them accountable and they don't like it, they will fail. And you'll be back and left in the same place that you've always been. Because that motivation cannot be another person. That motivation cannot be another thing. It has to be internal. It has to be something that they want that change. For me, a piece of that was I don't want to go back. I no longer want to be the person that I used to be. I no longer want to be the person that showed up hurting and destroying others. I made that change. It was a long change. It wasn't quick. It wasn't something that I woke up one day and I was like, oh, I'm going to be a nice person. No, it didn't start that way. It took time. You have to understand the motivation. What is it actually that's driving them to be different? Is it real? How do you know? Are they honest? Now, when I'm talking about honesty, I'm talking about a full level of transparency. There's a level here that narcissists need to understand that if they want to build back any trust, they have to let go of everything. They're no longer in control. They have to let go of everything and let the other person come in for a moment and be like, okay, what's actually going on? You have to be 100% transparent. And if you have a narcissist that's like, I'm changing, but you can't look at my phone. I'm changing, but you can't have access to this. I'm changing, but all this, it's a bunch of bull. Walk away. Is it real? There's also this consistency piece. The consistency piece I want to be able to term as the relentless pursuit of change. It means that you don't give them a list of change. It means you don't tell them what they have to do. It means that they are consistently working on developing and changing themselves. And when they're unwilling to do that, which most are, then you know it's not real. Had a couple that I was talking to the other day, and he was given an assignment. He was given things that he needed to do, and he didn't do them. And so in the conversation, typically narcissists will be like, well, I've been trying to work on this. I've been doing this. And I just ask for facts. I'm like, what have you done? Well, I've been working on this. Well, I've been doing this, all this kind of stuff. And it's just very vague. I'm like, okay, what about this assignment? Did you do this assignment? Well, I started it. Okay. And you started it like 3 months ago. Where are you now with it? Well, I'm partway through. Okay, you're partway through like 25 days of something you started 3 months ago. Like, what's going on? Well, okay, let's just stop right there. Like, you're not being honest with yourself, and you're not being honest with others, and you're not doing what is required. You're not actually putting forth the effort, which shows me that you don't have the motivation and that you don't actually care to change. It was just a quick fix in the moment because your wife was leaving you. A lot of times we see change happen only after you say you're going to leave. So you need to understand, when you say you're going to leave, understand that everything, the whole playing field is going to change. It's going to be a completely new game. It's going to be a completely new style. It's going to be a completely new thing that's happening in the moment where the narcissist is like, let me be completely different because now my old manipulation isn't working. Let me bring out the new manipulation so I can get to the place where I still am in this person's life, either for money or image or sex, and that'll help me feel better about myself. So the question that some of you guys are asking is, can they actually change? Is it actually possible for a narcissist to change? You hear a lot of times that it's impossible or a narcissist is incapable of change. I think that's half right. I think the other half that we omit is that it's impossible or a narcissist is incapable of change without honesty. When a narcissist gets to a place where they can be honest with themselves and actually confront their inner self, confront the issues, confront the shallow relationship and start to work on it, something else unlocks that is possible. I believe a lot of things are possible and a lot of things are able to change, but the level that that person is willing to engage with life to be able to get to the place of saying, hey, can I change? That's the hard part. So when I ask you today, is the narcissist in your life, are they being honest? Do you have full transparency? Full transparency does not mean, ask me anything. I'll tell you the truth, ask me anything. That's manipulation. That's setting you up for a lie. Full transparency does not mean, just let me know. You can look at my phone anytime. No, that's a lie. You need to understand that they're going to do this over and over to get you into a false sense of security so they can revert back to the person that they originally were. Not the love bombing one, but the narcissistic asshole. Are they being vulnerable? This is honesty 2.0. Are they being vulnerable with who they are and with how they're interacting with you? That means they're bringing out their emotions, their feelings, what they're actually engaging with. This is not saying, oh, I was abused as a kid, I had this trauma happen, I was in this car accident. All that is a bunch of BS that a lot of times narcissists will use to manipulate and change you. They're like, well, that's why I hurt you, because I was abused or because this happened. No, that's not true. The phrase hurt people isn't true. It's unhealed people hurt people. Because I can give you a litany of people that have been hurt in the past and they no longer hurt people. Even the phrase hurt people came from the place of like, wait a second, I've been hurt before, so I probably shouldn't do this because it would hurt someone. It's like an idea to be able to stop someone in their tracks of like, wait a second, should I actually say this? Honesty, vulnerability, last one, consistent change. Are they consistently improving and growing? That relentless pursuit, is that actually happening? If it's not happening, you need to leave. You need to get out. And you need to run. At the end of the day, you need to ask yourself a question, is that person willing to do what is required to change? The majority of the time it's not. Because there's this fear. There's this fear of truth. And this fear of truth is something that the narcissist and that you are also running from at times. For the narcissist, it's the fear of truth of like, I don't want to admit who I actually am. And for the survivor, it's normally the fear of, I don't want to admit of what actually happened. So my question for you today is, are you willing to do what is required for your growth, for your healing, for your change? If you want to take it to the next level of actually transforming your mindset, your thought process, and who you are to take back your power and grow, I want to invite you to go to escapetoxicity.com. It's a new program that we have that's a 7-day challenge to healing to help you move forward and work past the hard truths that you need to hear in order to be able to set you up for your healing, to be able to start you down the road that you don't want to go down right now because you're worried or you're scared or you think it's impossible. I want you to know today, right here, right now, that you're not crazy, you're not alone, and you're not hopeless. Please reach out for help.